All right, guys, good morning. Saturday morning, ice bath 487 in a row. 487. It's windy today. Woo! I'm not a fan of the wind. Back in my plunge today. 39-degree water. Yeah, it's cold. Yesterday I did up in the mountains in a little pond off a stream, which is really fun. Usually when I go to rivers, I'll take my little temperature gauge, and the rivers are like in the 60s. They're too warm. They're too warm for what I want to do. It's hard to find a river in the 40s. But if you get a really high mountain stream, you might get high 30s or low 40s. That's what I got yesterday. It was great. But 39, this ice bath, this cold plunge is cold. But I was thinking about perspective. The leaves are all out today. I love it. Spring is such a good time. We've talked about this before, but in the seasons of life, spring is when you invest. It's when you plant. So be careful what you're planting, right? What are you planting? What seeds are you planting in your brain and in your life? And Don and I went just the other day to a hot springs, and we hiked around up in the woods. I love that. And getting away, I always think it's true that travel and getting away at all from your normal routine is really good. It gives you perspective. It gives you a different perspective, and you can look back on what you're doing on an everyday basis and say, okay, you can see sometimes more clearly changes you need to make. So I love travel. I'm a big fan of traveling, and at least getting, even if it's just a small staycation or just a little local thing, get out of your normal routine for a day or two. That's really good to give you perspective. And I remember back, years ago, back in the 1990s, when I was in Costa Mesa, California with Jim Rohn, I remember driving back, and I had a hard day. I've told this story before, it's been a while, but I had a really hard day, and a bunch of different presentations that I did, and I wasn't selling as much as I wanted to, and I was homesick because Don was up in Oregon, and I was down in Costa Mesa. Just one of those days where I was feeling sorry for myself, basically. Sort of homesick and lonely, and wondering what I was doing. What was I doing with my life? What was I doing in that situation? Just a little bit sad. And I was driving home, and I was going by this little store on our way to the apartment where I lived. And there was a lady walking from the store to her apartment, and she was disabled. She had canes in both hands, kind of the canes that have a gripper on them, so you're kind of made for your hands. And she had her grocery bags hanging from her arms and was walking like, her best, but probably 1 mile an hour. I mean, like barely making it, but you could tell she was going from the grocery store back to her apartment. And I'm in my car, wearing my suit, feeling sorry for myself. And I remember thinking, watching her, and I was like, what is my problem? It was actually a really good dose of reality and perspective for me. That, you know what, if you can walk, and you can talk, and you can see, and you can move, and you can communicate, you've got everything going for you. Some people have it way worse, and they're making do, and they're doing the best that they can. So sometimes when you get down on yourself a little bit, or you start to feel frustrated or sad, or not sure which direction you're going, just remember, you've got a lot going for you, and you can do it if you decide to. So put your mind to what you want to do, get that new perspective, decide exactly what you want, create that vision, and then work to make it happen, because you can. You can do it. And sometimes that's what we need. We need that little perspective of, oh, okay, maybe I actually do have it a little bit better than I thought I had it. And that can move us into motion and get us results. So that's a really good thing, guys. So think about perspective today on a Saturday. Do a weekend review. How'd your week go? What would you do differently next week? How are things going? Make sure you have some plans, guys. Write in your journal for me. All right, look at the winds blowing stuff in my ice bath. 487 in a row is done. Woo, we're getting close to 500, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Woo, gotta get out of this wind.